We're back in the Apex, UFC Fight Night for Brandon Royval versus Tatsuro Taira. Who's fired up, you know? Let's be honest, the next 2 weeks of the UFC are just so-so. We got back-to-back Apex cards, but remember, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Because 308's coming and we got Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway. Just hold your horses. This is a fun little matchup though. Brandon Royval fights at such a high pace. Tatsuro's 24, I believe, and he's been on a tear, 16-0. Fun fight in the flyweight division, which is kind of heating up right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I want to dig into the main event. The thing I love about Brandon Royval is he brings the fucking fire. This guy's got the nickname Raw Dog, and he earned it. It seems like he goes in there, high pace, he's super active, he's long, he's got a good jab, nasty stand-up, he's active off his back when he gets taken down. He's a fun little fighter. Coming off of a big 5-round decision over Brandon Moreno in his last fight. Before that, he fought for the belt against Alexander Pantoja, which was a reasonably competitive fight. I will say, when we're talking about Brandon Royval in a title picture, he's lost to the champ 2 times, which kind of hurts his stock if he does get the win this weekend. I don't know if you can necessarily throw him back in there. And then on the flip side, we have Tatsuro Taira, who's a young up-and-comer out of Japan and has looked fantastic up to this point. The things that I worry about for Royval, as active as he was, Pantoja was able to hold him for a good majority of that fight, which is what led to Pantoja winning that decision. Tatsuro is a demon on the ground. Incredible top pressure, he floats well. But if Brandon can keep it on the feet, if he could somehow manage the distance with Tatsuro, it's gonna be a long night for the boy. Not saying that Tatsuro is not a capable striker, he's shown that he is. Good tie clinch, good hands, but he is more of a wrestler. He wants to take you down. He wants to control your back. He's gonna be looking for that submission. That being said, Tatsuro is a little bit untested. He fought Alex Perez, which was a very, very good win for him. But when you're comparing him to Brandon Royval, who's fought guys like Brandon Moreno twice, the champ Alexander Pantoja twice. He's fought Kai Kara France. He's fought Mateus Nicolau. This guy's been running loose in this division for a long time. So it'll be interesting to see how Tatsuro stacks up with the top of the division. But when he did get that number 5 ranked opponent against Alex Perez, I mean, he looked fantastic. Pretty much dominated that fight start to finish. Was never really in deep trouble. It's gonna be interesting. The thing that I really wanna talk about is just the state of the flyweight division. It's getting good. For a while there, if you look back at the last couple years, we were stuck in a lot of rematches. We had a quadrilogy with Brandon Moreno and Davidson Figueiredo that led into Brandon Moreno taking on Alexander Pantoja, who was a rematch, which led into Pantoja taking on Brandon Royval, which was a rematch. Then finally, the man himself, Steve Erceg, pulled up and gave us some fresh blood. Following that fight, Steve Erceg took on Kai Kara France in Australia, and Kai Kara France looked fantastic. A brutal knockout of Steve Erceg, giving Kai a real claim to that next shot at the belt. But then in November, we had Brandon Moreno and Mir Albazi. If Albazi can pull off that win against Moreno, his last fight was a win over Kai Kara France, so he could claim the belt. And we also have this fight, Tatsuro versus Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval is currently ranked number 1 in the division. If Tatsuro beats him, who's to say he doesn't have the claim to the belt? It really is a fun time in the flyweight division right now. Kai's the only one that's kind of stamped his ticket, but we have the potential of 2 more guys coming behind him that have a real claim to the next title shot. Also, RIP to Muhammad Mokaev. What the fuck was that? I don't know what he was doing in the background, but the bosses did not like it, and the boy is gone now, so lucky for us, we have 3 guys knocking on the door. We have a fantastic fight in the flyweight division this weekend. We gotta wade through a couple of Apex cards, but we got 308 just around the corner. Life is good.